Lilo, you're watching Headbangers Lifestyle. Welcome! And welcome to Uli Jon Roth. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
Doing great.
Yes?
Yes.
So, we have something for you. It's the black box, mystery box.
From an airplane that went up and off, a little bit big.
Do you want to open it and take a look in it? And
well, what's in it?
Well, take a look and then let's talk about it.
Rabbits?
No.
Doves? Aha. Okay,
so what do we have here? It's the first Scorpions album.
It's not the first Scorpions album, but it's one of the first. I think it's actually number 5, 4 or 5.
You were on it. You recorded this album. What is your best memory of this era in your career?
It was, this was the album where I actually decided to leave the band. I decided to leave the band before the album. But the band didn't know it, and I didn't want to tell the band, so as not to spoil the album, So when we took the picture, I looked like that because I already knew there was something going on, Other than that, I have nothing but good memories with the Scorpions days. It was really a great time, and we had good friendship, and it was an exciting time.
Okay.
So, more from the mystery box?
Yes, there's a lot.
Wow.
Take a pic.
Yeah, I'll take that one because it relates to this one. So this one was Tokyo Tapes, and that's the album that really defined my leaving the band, and I guess of all the albums from around the time when I was there, it's the most well known because it really went around the world at that time. And it was really, we did this album in order to kind of celebrate our 5 years together, and this was to be our final statement, so to speak. And it also marked our first tour in Asia, in Japan. And I'm very proud of it. At the time, my mind was already on other things when I was leaving, But with hindsight, I understood that was a very important album for me personally also. Not just
it became a real classic among the fans.
Yeah. I realized it years after because in every autograph session, people come with their old albums, but that one is always there, and it's amazing how many are out there,
Any idea why it's so popular, the vibe or songs?
Really, actually, I don't know, because there were other great live albums around at that time. The chemistry was certainly very different, in that band. And I guess at that particular moment in time, in 1978, we were kind of like the only band doing that type of thing, mixture of really melodic vocals with melodic guitar, and I guess it was just a little different.
Okay. Let's take a look.
Yeah, those were the albums that followed the Scorpions, and the first one of which I don't see, but that was the second Electric Sun album called Firewind. I remember we actually had some of our first shows here in Holland at the Paradiso with Electric Sun, and we also did a promo video in Amsterdam. Well, to me that was a totally different time of my life. It was a time when I was kind of I had a lot of freedom to experiment and delve into the music in a different way, because with the Scorpions we were on a certain path, and we had a certain framework. And with Electric Sun, It was another framework, but it was more free flow, and that's what I wanted at that time, you know. So to me, those albums were like really the first ones that marked my newfound, I guess, artistic freedom, you know. So yeah, I was fond of this album. Okay, and this one here is the last of the 3 Electric Sun albums. Came out in '85, and someone
That's
has
plastic.
well, actually, I wanted to have a look at the inside. Never mind. It's called Beyond the Astral Skies, and for me, of all the Electric Sun albums, it is actually my favorite. I love the painting, the artwork. It's a painting by Monica Dannemann, who was then my girlfriend of many years, who also wrote the lyrics for one of the more outstanding Scorpions tracks, Will Burn the Sky, and she did this painting, and I loved this painting, and then I thought that would be a great cover for this album, you know. It's Beyond the Astral Skies. Yeah. Okay. Now we have, well, I don't know.
Well, can show.
Okay, we have this.
Yes. We heard that you are really...
It's a kitty.
Yes. About animal rights.
I am, well, you know, I'm absolutely an animal lover. Ever since I was very little, I was fascinated by animals, full stop. And nothing has changed about this. I really do love cats. At some point in Germany we had like 20 cats. Most of them outside. We were feeding them because the lady who lived there before moved away, so all these cats were hungry, you know, and my mom used to feed them. And for many years we've always had cats in the house, and we also have one now. His name is Kushti. Wasn't my idea, but Kushti in English is a funny word. And we also called him Henry, because we were looking for, he came to us one day out of nowhere. He had been abandoned, but he was fully trained, and so I knew this cat must have belonged to somebody. He was ever so friendly. And yeah, we lost our favorite cats in Germany, Lionheart and Genie, and they died both when they were 17. You know, that was pretty tragic. It's like losing a family member. And so when we went to England, we didn't have any cats, and we really missed our cats. And then suddenly Kushti arrived, you know, and so now he's a member of the family. Yeah, as I say, to me, extremely important. Animals and animal rights, animal welfare. You probably refer to me always retweeting things on Twitter. When I see things, I abhor any animal cruelty, and I think basically what we're doing in terms of the way the animals are treated in the slaughterhouses also is absolutely dreadful and should be changed, you know. So it's not worthy of any of today's societies. So that's basically that.
Yeah.
What else? You take the next one.
We go here, because you're referring to moving. You moved to Wales, to Germany, to Wales?
Well, no. Originally, you see, I've lived in the UK for many years, ever since 1980. And there was a period when we also lived in Wales for 9 years. And after those 9 years, moved back to Germany for 6 years, now back to Wales of all places, but that was more like a coincidence. I found the house on the internet and it just happened to be in Wales again, you know. So, but I do love it there. And
what do you like specifically living there?
Well, I don't like the infrastructure. There is none, you know. It's like bad roads, etc. But it's just very secluded and peaceful, you know. And yes, it's a little bit magical, particularly. Where we live, nature looks like Lord of the Rings. It's totally amazing, you know. Like it's really that beautiful, you know. And when I'm at home, which is not often enough, I just really enjoy nature, countryside, nice garden, whatever, you know. I'm fine in the cities, but I prefer to live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's quiet.
Yeah,
sort
sheep,
of. Yeah.
the sounds of sheep and pheasants and all sorts of creatures.
Is that a result of when you are on the road a lot, having all the noise around you?
No, it's not. It's not really
like
the noise. No, I can tune out the noise quite well. It's just I just love being in these places which are more undiluted. You know, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel drawn to that.
Yeah. Nice.
So what else?
Well, here because we talked a little bit about it. It's a cookbook for vegetarians. Yeah.
Is that also like in Dutch you say
vegetarisch?
Vegetarisch.
Yeah. So you're vegetarian or are you?
No, not vegan. Vegan is really too difficult when you're on the road. It's a full-time job almost, you know. And when people cook vegan on the road, our rider always says 3 or 4 vegetarian meals when we come to a place. Usually, sometimes they supply vegan, and it's usually awful because they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm fine with vegetarian, and the reason why I'm vegetarian is really just because of the animals. Because I grew up eating meat, I had no problem with it until one day. That was in the early Scorpions, actually, in 1975 I realized that for myself, eating meat is wrong, and so I don't go around preaching vegetarianism because I think everybody needs to find their own way, and if it doesn't come really from your heart, you won't stay a vegetarian for long. Some people just think it's too boring, you know, so a lot of people start, and then after 2 months, the first steak, you know, is on the plate again. For me, it's very easy because I'm not so food driven. Luckily, that's one point, and the other is that I just find it disgusting. So it's easy, you know. I don't have a desire, you know.
Yeah. Do you cook yourself? Do you like to cook?
Yeah, I've invented sky cooking.
Sky cooking, what is that?
It sounds grand, but it isn't. It's just a fast way of working with a wok. I call it sky cooking because of my sky guitars, etc. It's nothing special. It's just I'm using things that are fresh, and no 2 dishes are ever the same. I'm constantly improvising. Which is pretty much what I do on the guitar. You know, which is the way I lead my life.
Okay. So every day is a surprise for you?
Yes and no. I mean, certain things are the same, and if they weren't, I would probably go crazy. But, but yeah, I like surprises, and I like to do things differently in order to, just to escape the rut and just to escape the rigidity of repetition, which can be very, very, it can be an inspiration killer. Inspiration usually thrives on change and on the feeling that something is completely fresh, completely new, and like you're experiencing it for the first time almost, you know. So
Well, you were mentioning your Sky guitar. I think it's here. This CD. Well, what made you?
That one's called Transcendental Sky Guitar.
Yeah. What made you come up with the idea to do that?
Well, the guitar, you know. I used to play the Fender Stratocaster all the time in the Scorpions, and it was my favorite guitar. Except for there were a few bits missing, you know, like when I played the guitar leads, I always felt I wanted to play a little higher, and I couldn't, you know. So being a lover of violin playing and the piano, I thought the guitar was kind of not getting really the full deal here, and that's really how I had the idea to come up with a guitar that has an extended range. That's how it started, and then later it became more things, you know. We extended the range, but we also explored possibilities to make the guitar more powerful, more versatile, more an instrument which I wanted. So nowadays, Sky guitars, which I play in concert, to me they're like dream machines, you know. They're like really, I can do almost anything with them. So that's why I don't play conventional guitars anymore. It's not that they're bad or worse, it's just they're almost like different instruments. and I prefer to play sky guitars.
Yeah, clear. So then, this we have. Let's go back to this one. This is your latest release.
That's really for me. It's called Scorpions Revisited, and it's a double album which is featuring my favorite tracks from those 5 years that I was in the Scorpions with not just the songs that I've written, but also some of the ones that Rudolf and Klaus have written, and we have revisited these songs with a young band, with people who can really play and who've got all the fire necessary to do that. And for me, it was important to see what happens when I kind of reconnect with my own past, because it was something that for years I didn't want to do. I wasn't interested for some reason, and people always told me, why don't you play like stuff from Tokyo Tapes? And my mind had moved on, and somehow I ended up doing this, and I found it very, very interesting, and I learned a few things that I already had forgotten over the years,
Yeah. But what triggered you then in the first place?
It was a friend of mine who had the idea. He said, look, the Scorpions are not playing the material from the early Scorpions, because I was, I'm not there anymore with them, and we were very much a specialty there with a special sound. And nobody's playing these songs, if you don't do it, nobody will. But there's a lot of people out there who want to hear them. And why don't you do a tour dedicated to the stuff that you played on Tokyo Tapes, And at first I thought, strange idea, a strange idea. Then another friend said the same thing, like a couple of months later, and I respected both their ideas and opinions, so somehow I went to my subconscious, and then suddenly I began to realize maybe it's a very good idea, maybe it's very interesting. It turned out to be a very good idea.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we did that. Yes.
All right.
You see, because a lot of people, when they get a little older, they start to revisit the stuff they did when they were younger. And there's some rock bands, and very often it happens that they can't do it anymore because they've lost the touch, And I wanted to make sure that doesn't happen. I wanted to really get into the same frame of mind, and so we even went into the same place where we started the rehearsals with the Scorpions back then, which was a beautiful hall near Hanover, and that's where we recorded it in a live kind of way, but it just felt very authentic to me, so pleased with that one. What do we have here?
Let's see, we were wondering about this. You always wear a bracelet with this particular blue stone.
Well, that's pretty much my color. It's a turquoise color,
Does it have a special meaning?
Yes, every color has a special meaning. That's to me also the color of a musical note, And each color has a different energy. Each stone has a different energy. I'm fascinated by these things. Sounds very new agey, but I'm also fascinated by physics and astronomy and by science. So to me, there's a lot of things that are worth investigating about that. Anyways, regardless, I just like the feeling of certain stones more than others, and
Yeah. Is it like a talisman?
No, not really. No, the only talisman I really have is this cross. I wear it all the time. I've had it from 1985, and I don't want to lose it. So,
Okay.
Nice.
Well, we have as well a cross
here. See, this is the weirdest kind of idea, your black box, but I like it. I mean, it's really something totally different.
Well, there's a cross because we noticed you wear a cross
Thank
on
you,
your neck.
yes.
But do you have...
I wear a cross because I believe in Jesus. I'm not like a fundamental Christian type person. In fact, I don't believe in these things. But I do believe in the message of the New Testament. Not so much in the Old Testament. For me, it's almost not like the same God, And so that's all, That's really what that stands for.
Then we have Jimi Hendrix, actually.
Yes. Now, Jimmy, which one is this? Some weird. Oh, it's just So Jimmy was pretty much my mentor in terms of guitar playing and many other things. I've learned so much from this man. I can't even describe it. To me, he was a great genius, and I learned not only guitar playing, music, but also about art and spirituality. To me, he incorporated all these things more than virtually any other rock musician. And so to this day, I'm always humbled by the greatness of this man, Mm-hmm. And I was very lucky that I was able to see him twice when I was very young, when I was 13. And I was even backstage at his very last concert in Germany in 1970.
Wow.
Yes.
How would you like to be remembered in the future as an artist, as a guitarist?
Me?
Yeah.
Guitar. Well, the guitar is, of course, my. It's the thing I'm most known for. I see myself mostly as an all-round artist type. I'm interested in bringing together various forms of art and to discovering new forms, but not in some kind of drastic way. It has to be organic. I do love art, and I do love music, but I also love philosophy, and these things together, I see them as a combined whole. Yeah.
But how do you want to be remembered as a musician?
I don't really think about how I want to be remembered. I mean, people will make that choice. They will either forget or they won't forget. And if they won't forget, then they'll remember something. I have a feeling that I'm far from finished. I will write my philosophy books, and in a way, I'm hoping that will touch some people's minds and hearts, but I have not published it yet. So if you ask me how I want to be remembered, that's probably what I would like to see, but nobody's in charge of these things, and I will just do my best to find that way that I'm looking for.
So what do you want to accomplish still as an artist or as a person?
Lots. I haven't even started yet.
You haven't even started yet?
I think I will try to go on for another 30 years or so. If I stay healthy, I can do that. And to me, I'm looking forward to the future. A lot of people do use music as an escape and almost like a drug. That can be a little bit dangerous because they tend to never really find themselves, That happens to quite a few musicians. It's in that sense, it's a little bit of a trap, actually, because it's so nice, Nice trap.
But you find your way in the music business, apparently.
I had to. I had to. It was never interesting to me, but then there came a day when I realized that if I don't understand how it works, I won't be able to produce any albums. So I kind of learned it. And I think it's important to kind of know, or at least think one knows how the world works. And in that sense I've changed. When I was younger I wasn't really interested in any of that. Now I'm a lot more realistic. I don't look realistic, but I guess I am.
Last one. We heard that you like to have a good glass of wine after a show.
Yeah, after the show, that's true. But I'm not a connoisseur.
No.
I just drink it so I can go to sleep.
Aha!
It's the truth. Just to burst some people's bubbles. Because sometimes people give me all these fancy wines and they say, I've got a chateau so-and-so, and here, this is from Côte d'Iron, from my son's vineyard, which is great. But usually I have to say I'm not a connoisseur, I do prefer certain wines over others, Italian wines to French wines, that's true. But, okay, well...
That's it then.
But it doesn't mean so much to me. It's just after the show, when you're on the stage, you rev up. I drink sometimes too much coffee before the show, and then you meet so many people, and afterwards I can't go to sleep, you know. So the red wine really helps me to come down to normality.
Yeah.
But never on stage. I couldn't play. Even if I had that, I couldn't play.
No.
You know. When I was young in the Scorpions, we used to have the occasional drink, but when you're 19 years old, it doesn't really, you know, I was able to play just like that. But then I remember when I was in 21 or so, I stopped completely. I never had another drink on stage because it's just not needed anyways. You know, it's not needed. It makes me play less good, in fact.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And thank you for watching Headbangers Lifestyle.